And welcome back, everybody. Time now for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have everybody talking.
We're joined today by John and Willow from Milwaukee Social Media, and Jeff Wagner is back. Dozens of governments sought out information on more than 38,000 Facebook users in the first half of this year. And Facebook actually complied with most of those requests. While we have some personal information on Facebook, is it right for the government to request it?
I don't care. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I don't think there's any right to privacy. If you decide that you're going to go and you're going to post stuff on Facebook or you're going to sign up with something like this, I don't think it's like putting cameras in the bedroom or anything like that. It doesn't make any difference to me. Go ahead.
If you overshare, that could come back to bite you sometime.
Well, yeah, in many contexts, yes.
In truth, when you post something on the internet, it is, well, on the internet. On the other hand, for governments to request that information, to have Facebook go looking at their pages for you, is just another example of the point that's been made very, very clear to us as Americans, and in fact as world citizens, that we don't have a right to privacy. Facebook is one example. It's one of the more public examples, but it's part of a precedent that I actually think is pretty dangerous.
But some of the things that the government is doing here, they want to know the people behind certain Facebook pages where illegal activity may be going on.
Potential illegal activity, yeah. I mean, I think that the truth, the problem that the government has is picking and choosing what's relevant. So I think they're casting this very, very wide net, and I think what they're finding is most of the stuff they get really isn't relevant to what they end up looking for, and they got to figure out a way to sort through that. Again, that said, want to go look at my Facebook thing, want to look at the background behind it, fine.
But that's kind of to the point, though, that if you don't want to get in trouble, don't do anything wrong, and you have nothing to worry about. But at what point do we redefine what's wrong? I mean, do we get to the point where civil dissent is wrong? These are precedents that are being set now for what is being claimed to be very tangible, very specific, concrete goals regarding crime and terrorism. But again, at what point do we cross that line?
And I guess, I mean, I understand, and that's a slippery slope argument. And you know, you hear about a lot of things. In some cases, I think it's really relevant. In this particular case, I don't know. I understand what you're saying, John, and there might be this point in time where it really does cross the line and start intruding on people's Fourth Amendment rights or something like that. I guess just finding out who's behind certain Facebook pages, I don't care.
All right, coming up next, what one country is doing to kids.
And our viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we have John and Willow here. You know her from your Twitter. And Jeff Wagner, you know him from the radio. Well, some schools cutting ties with the National School Lunch Program. Schools say kids are turning up their noses at the healthier lunches and cafeterias are losing money. The question, should schools be dropping the healthy lunch program?
I have kids in school, and the Healthy Lunch Program was something that lots of parents were really excited about. Our kids are going to have access to fresh fruit every day as part of their lunch program. There were going to be salads. There were going to be all kinds of choices. And guess what? The pears that they serve every single day, green, hard as a rock. The oranges are inedible. Sometimes there isn't fruit. Sometimes instead there might be something else, or there might not. It depends on if they have it. But unfortunately, the dumpsters behind the schools in my kids' district are notorious for people who claim food in the night because it's full of fresh produce that's actually inedible but better for people with no food.
Right, well-intended. Look, this program was well-intended, but the execution is awful. Everybody wants kids to eat better. But
right.
John, and you're exactly right. The rules are you got to give a kid a piece of fruit even if they say they're not going to eat it. You got to put the vegetable on the plate even if they're not going to eat it. Here's the answer to this. It's work with the school dietitians. You can make healthy food that kids want to eat, like vegetable lasagna and things like that. That's the answer. You know, trick them into eating the good stuff, but don't force them to do this because right now what we're doing doesn't work.
But it also has to be, they have to be able to eat it. Like John Ann said, if you have a pear that's hard, you're not going to eat it. So there are kids that possibly would eat this stuff. But
my kids eat fruit like crazy at home.
If it's not ripe or it's not available, then they're not going to.
And then here's one of the other insane things about this. They don't allow sharing. So let's say you give a kid an apple and that kid doesn't want the apple, but one of his friends wants the apple,
many rules.
they can't give them the apple because then you increase their caloric intake above what the limit is. So instead they throw out the good apple. You know, it's just
good intentions gone horribly wrong.
But Jeff, I think you have another really good point about working with school dietitians.
Yeah.
School districts, those professionals, they spend their time there. They know what those kids will eat. They know what the favorite dishes are, and they know how their own kitchen works. Every kitchen is set up differently for different kinds of efficiencies. I think we do need to put more control back at the school level, give those schools their budget back, and let them do what they need to do.
Make healthy food that kids are going to eat.
On site would be nice.
We love it when you guys agree.
All right, lightning round time.
Does your kid need to go on a digital diet? Japan unveils internet fasting camps to deal with the country's 500,000 kids addicted to the web. The camps won't have any internet access, smartphones, or video games. They're making them go cold turkey. Do you think the U.S. should have internet fasting camps?
TikTok.
The U.S. does have internet fasting camps, as a matter of fact. It's called summer sports. It's called summer camp. It's called take your kids on vacation. It's called turn off the wireless while you're at work. There are all kinds of ways to keep your kids away from the internet, and you can do it in a really positive way.
Apparently, you have to send them to camp instead of parenting.
That's exactly. Well, it's called mom and dad. I mean, I have friends who have young kids that the kids would play on the internet all day if you let them. They don't. They limit it. Okay, you got 45 minutes. Boom, that's it. Get outside, play with your friends, or go shoot baskets or whatever.
Right, and when you've got kids and it's too hard to keep an eye on them all day, like I have teenagers and I work, you can send them to camp for a week. You can send, like, my kid takes summer school. He doesn't have the internet there. Make structured ways, times, and reasons to get them away from the internet, and they'll be a lot more balanced.
Now, don't take the internet away from us adults, though, right?
Never.
Yeah, us adults need camp, too.
Yeah.
The What's Hot discussion continues online. Find that page, tmj4.com/hot. Thank you both today.
Coming up, Storm Team forecaster Brian Goddard has your weather wise.